with this wiggle that I have on the end of this ratchet. You know, it's my opinion that some people always don't use enough extensions. I'm one of these people. I like to use a lot of extensions. I like to get my ratchet away from things and just turn it. A lot of people like to use just the ratchet with the socket directly on the end of it. I like to use a lot of extensions in the back far up. So with those three bolts removed, the access panel appears to have some kind of a glue or cover. The cover seems to be glued on, so let me get a screwdriver. Alright, my trusty assistant has handed me a screwdriver. And with that, I'm going to pry the access panel towards me. Yeah, that thing's stuck on pretty darn well. Try not to bend it too much here, but you can't help some things. Yeah, here we go. Alright, there's our actual panel. As you can see, it's got some weather material behind it. It keeps any water from going back into the cowl. So I'm just going to place that right there. And since we have our access panel open, I know that the wiper motor is not going to come on because it's unplugged. Now, make no mistake about it, if the wiper motor actually comes on with your hand in this area, you'll probably lose a hand. The darn things are strong, believe it or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and stick it back here, and I'm going to feel for the nut that's at the end of the wiper motor. Okay, that's off.
It's a connection.
Okay, one thing is you have to put your hand through the access panel and feel the nut back here that retains the wiper arm onto the wiper motor. And I can feel the nut. It's difficult, don't get me wrong, because there's tight quarters back here. And it feels to me, and this is where experience comes in, it feels to me it's going to be about a 14 millimeter. So, let me get a 14 millimeter socket. And here's a 14 millimeter socket, and I'm putting it on my tool, the one that I was bragging on a while ago. It's a 1/4 inch on one side and 3/8 on the other, and it's a nice short ratchet, good for tight quarters. So, putting the 14 millimeter on here, and I'm making sure that I have it on the reverse side. Although the wiper motor is mounted backwards, therefore reverse will be backwards, but if you just go forward and reverse on your ratchet, whether you use it this way, that way, it'll always be correct. So, this is reversing, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, always remember. Okay, and here we go. I have to stuff my hand back in there again. That's why mechanics have all those nicks and scratches on their arms, and their hands are always beat and battered. So, I'm using two hands here, one of them to move the motor around. We tried to go through this access panel with a 14 millimeter and remove the nut, but it proved to be just really difficult, which is some of this show's good qualities of this show is we're going to show you how we do things, not necessarily how things are written in a book or how things are supposed to go, but this is how we do things to get back. Now, Dallas looked in the Chilton's manual. Is that what you looked at, Dallas? Chilton?
Yeah, that was it.
Chilton, okay. Dallas looked in the Chilton manual just before we started this procedure, and it said to gain access through this panel and then remove the clip that's behind the wiper motor. The clip has proved to be impossible to remove. So, at this time, the best scenario was to remove the nut from behind the wiper motor. And it's also proved to be pretty darn difficult. So here's one of those situations where we're just doing what we have to do. So what I've done is I've just got myself some room by prying the wiper motor out of the hole in which it sits in. And I have a ratchet wrench here, a 14 millimeter ratchet wrench. And I'm on the nut for the wiper motor. So little by little, slowly but surely, with no room whatsoever. You can see how crowded it is. I'm removing the nut. I tell you, this thing's proved to be a little difficult. And here it is, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not exaggerating. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why did we wait till 4 o'clock in the morning to do this, Dallas?
Just part of the Halloween night, so.
Oh, it is Halloween. It's Halloween.
So.
And we did have things to do on Halloween, so it is 4 a.m. Well, it's actually 3 a.m. because we're supposed to set our clocks back 1 hour. So here I am, slowly but surely removing this nut.
And as you can see here, I'm gonna talk a little while he's still working. That ratchet wrench, you know, that really saves you in the department of not having any room to function, because you don't have to worry about taking it off, placing it back on, moving it, you know, an inch or two, taking it off, and doing it again. Right here, you just leave it on and keep working at it.
That's true. That's true. And I tell you, these ratchet wrenches, these combination ratchet wrenches, is something that I never thought I would own. And I don't know why I bought this couple of ratchet wrenches that I bought, just to impulse buy. And I'm so glad I did. Again, they were purchased from AutoZone, and they're just the best little wrenches, man. Just the best little ratchet wrenches. They're Duralast, guaranteed for life. Okay, now I've removed the nut. That's the nut that goes on the back side of the wiper motor. It's a special nut. It's self-locking. Of course, I'll never find it now. That's the way this mechanic work goes. So let me go retrieve a magnet. Okay, since I dropped that nut, I went and retrieved a magnet, which this magnet is it's Ampro, and that's from Advance Auto. It's just a telescoping magnet. It's been a really, really good one. This Ampro from Advance Auto. It wasn't probably. It's a little better than the cheaper ones they have, but it's not as good as the most expensive one. I think it was $5 or $6, but worth every dime of it. I see the nut that I dropped, and it's just right there. So there, I've retrieved the nut. And that is, like I was saying, that's a special nut. It has a self-locking apparatus pressed into the top of the nut where the nut won't just free spin off. Which it's good when it's in use, but it's horrible when you're trying to service the nut because it's tough to turn. So I'm just going to place that right there. So sometimes these wiper motors have a tendency of rusting together. The wiper arm rusts to the motor. So now we're having to deal with that. The best way to deal with that is with a pretty good sized screwdriver. You'll cut. Running? Mm-hmm. Okay, instead of a screwdriver, because this is for the home mechanic, I'm using a tire iron. Just a tire iron that can be found anywhere. So with this tire iron, I'm going to go between the windshield wiper, motor, and the wiper transmission here. Can you see this, John, pretty good? I don't know if you can see where I'm prying right here. You see a little bit of the arm right here, and here's the wiper motor. So I'm just going to put a little force right there. Yeah, there we go. Move it back and forth a time or two, let the rust break, and there. And there we have it. So, alright, that's phase 2. Wiper motor's off.